Muted. Okay. Hey, y'all. Happy Friday. It's Necey Dixon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, y'all, welcome back. Happy Friday again. Okay. I decided to come and talk to y'all today on a lunchtime live to review Married at First Sight. If y'all haven't, be sure to check out our episode of Ooh Ladies First Panel that premiered last night and this morning again on Jay Lee's Corner channel. We talked about Married at First Sight a little bit, but because I didn't put out my review, I wanted to save a lot of stuff to come talk to y'all. So I think we should go ahead and get into it. But for the comment section, I want y'all to let me know if y'all are enjoying these lunchtime lives that happen in the middle of the day. Hopefully, if you're at work or if you're working from home and, you ain't really got nobody to talk to, we can just talk over Married at First Sight over lunch. Okay. I don't even know what I'm eating today because I decided to come and talk to y'all first. I really am just thinking about this happier that I'm going to be eating at tonight. Oh my gosh. Margaritas, bread, tacos. Okay. So let me go ahead and get this show on the road. So that way the rest of the day can go by faster. And let me say hello. Hey, Jay, Latoya, Kim, A. Austin, and SG. It is, I don't know if I would call it super hot where I am. It's going to be 94 today. So that is hot, but I don't know if I would call it super hot. I'm in Dallas, Texas now. Okay. All right. So what did y'all think about the reunion? I got new pictures of these are the old pictures, but I got new pictures of the couples from the reunion, and it looks like only 3 of them loaded. What is going on? I don't know why all the pictures didn't load. That's weird. Y'all give me a hot second so I can get the pictures because I really want y'all to see the pictures of the couples as they were today. So this should give y'all opportunity to go ahead and like the video. Give me a hot second, y'all. I will be right back. And if you haven't, shameless plug, go check out my other review, okay? Give me a hot second. Okay. F it. F it. F it. Forget it. I have the pictures of all of the couples who actually really, really, really matter. And then for Chris and Alyssa and Noi and Steve, I just use the old pictures of them. Okay. Y'all get the gist. Hopefully y'all watch the episode, but if y'all haven't, it's fine now. All right. So let's go ahead and start out. Let me pull up my notes in the order of events. I just want to talk in the order of events. So, all the couples are on stage, right? And as they're on stage, there's just a couple things that I noticed. Alyssa looks noticeably more tan, which I don't have a picture of Alyssa, but the girl looked noticeably more tan. And then we also find out that Mark lost 40 pounds. I'm like, okay, good. Shout out to Mark. Mark, I couldn't tell, but he said he lost 40 pounds. So good for him. I also noticed that Olajuwon looked like he put on a little bit more weight. So that could mean one or two things. Either Katina is cooking or they're door dashing it up. We're going to talk about that later. But Olajuwon has been eating good. And Katina is back with a new hairstyle. She has the Bobbiana in the bang. And I don't mind the hairstyle. But people on Twitter were saying that Katina looked noticeably stressed. Her eye bags were baggier. And I would have to agree. I think that Katina looked noticeably more stressed. I saw this tweet and I had to retweet it. Katina is the definition of I'm gonna stick by his side. And that is exactly what she was given. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the questions that Kevin Frazier had for some of the couples at the beginning. So Kevin wants to ask the people what they thought the process was like. Was it difficult being married? How was being married at first sight? Was the overall process difficult? And Lindsey says, it was, but I didn't know it was going to be 3 jobs, which obviously was a jab at Mark because she kept talking about how much of a hot mess Mark was and how she had to come save him because he couldn't get his stuff in order. So we gonna see what happens there with Lindsey and Mark. And then we hear from Alyssa. Y'all, if this lady don't get out of our face, Alyssa came on this show, saw the way she acted, and then actually tried to claim insanity. She actually tried to Karen the F out of that situation. Like, I need you to at least take some fake accountability the way that Olajuwon took some fake accountability. So, Alyssa, girl, we're not going to put it on insanity, okay? I need you to be all the way real. Stand in your truth. I was being a bitch because I didn't get what I want and I'm mad about it. Don't say that, it was an outer body experience and you really didn't know what was going on. But girl, goodbye. So the other thing that they talk about, they get into some mess. They kind of expose Lindsey for being messy boots. So they start talking about how Lindsey was throwing jabs at Steve and Noi. It took me a second to think about if I wanted to call him unemployed or not. But because we found out how he gets his money, I guess I can go back to calling this man Steve. So Lindsey was throwing jabs talking about, I don't know how Steve is going to be a stay-at-home dad with no job or whatever, right? And Steve just basically says him and Lindsey don't vibe. He knew that her energy was not going to get along with his and he stayed away from her. But what he did have a problem with was one of the producers ended up telling him that Lindsey told everyone the first time that they had sex. And Lindsey was like, that had nothing to do with me. And they're like, yeah, but our producer told us that you said that. And Lindsey says, but I didn't tell anyone here that. You did, though, Lindsey. You told the producer the first time that they had sex. You just didn't tell any of the other married couples, allegedly. I do believe that Lindsey is the drama. And I kind of put my finger on it from day one whenever she said that she didn't have a relationship with her mom. And I don't want y'all to think that I think that parents can't be fucked up. But I just feel like there's probably more to the story, or maybe there's some sort of generational thing. Ain't no telling. But it was just very weird to me. Even whenever we were introduced to Lindsey and we saw the relationship that she had with her dad and her brother, it was very much giving she was a brat who was a kid who did whatever they wanted to and then turned into a bratty ass adult. And she literally sees no fault in anything that she does at all. So I believe that Lindsey is the drama. Am I the drama? Talking and TikToking, okay? So let's go ahead and jump into Katina and Olajuwon since I already have a picture up here. Hey, friend. Okay. Lunchtime live. See, I knew this was the perfect timing because I knew y'all was going to have somebody to talk to on y'all's lunch breaks. Okay. So now let's get into Katina and Olajuwon. Y'all, I hope y'all didn't believe what Olajuwon was putting in front of our face. If anything, y'all, okay, I got to be real. I was live tweeting throughout the episode, and part of me was kind of just like, Olajuwon is saying all the right things. And every time I had a thought of like, wow, he was an asshole on the show, or man, this or that, Olajuwon sat there. He watched the videos. He watched the videos. He was a subscriber. We probably just don't know it. He followed us on Twitter. He followed the hashtag. And he came here at the reunion and he addressed every single thing that we did. We talked about how it was lightweight abuse, what he was doing. He didn't say the word abuse, but he addressed his aggression, right? We talked about the cooking situation. He addressed that. It was almost as if Kevin could not even get the questions off of his damn tongue before Olajuwon already had an answer for it. And to me, I'm like, okay, that's all fine and dandy, but why did it take for the cameras to leave for you to all of a sudden realize that you were being an asshole and that you needed another adult to hold you accountable, as if your wife sitting there crying wasn't enough to make you realize that you were being a narcissist? What? I'm just like, okay, it all sounds good, but whatever. So, as far as food, he says that he created a balance and that she doesn't cook every night. And I absolutely believe he created a balance of eating out. As I told you, I could tell at the beginning. Now, the next thing that happens is this proposal. He ends up proposing to her. And, they keep saying, Katina saying, something in my heart just told me to stand beside him. I'm going to stick beside him. And I just knew it would be worth it because he's not for a weak person. That's exactly what Olajuwon is for. Olajuwon is for a weak person, Katina. As his brother told you at the beginning, his brother told you when on the wedding day that he would try to mold you, and you were as moldable as damn Play-Doh. Okay, you were Play-Doh, and Olajuwon was Isaac. I'm just like, girl, okay, if y'all want to try to romanticize this stuff, that's you. If you like it, I love it. But there was one moment that stuck out to me, which I'll get to. And I hope y'all notice this moment as well. So, anyway, he ends up proposing to her. Katina's in tears. And again, what we've all analyzed from jump is Katina is in the process of, or she's in a cycle of always getting beat down and then rewarded later. You don't cook. I don't know if I could really, respect you as a human being or as a woman. Okay, well, fine. You made me popcorn and laid out my sleeping bag in front of the TV. I love you. He does this over and over and over again. So, because Katina decided to stay and endure all of the mental and emotional abuse from my point of view, he waited 5 months after decision day. Because at this point, y'all, it's been 5 months to get her a big ring and re-propose to her. And she's so happy. And I'm like, okay, I hope this is genuine, but this is when I knew it wasn't genuine. She put the ring on her finger and she said to Olajuwon, I love you. And he said, I love you too. And Katina says, that's the first time we've actually said that. Katina, what I need you to sit with and just think, okay, as a starter question. Why the theatrics? Y'all had 5 months from decision day, equating to 7 months of knowing each other. And y'all had never once said y'all loved each other. Olajuwon had ample opportunities to get you a brand new ring in between now and the reunion, but he waited until the reunion to present it in front of everybody. Just as on decision day, he had ample opportunity to tell you that was a hard day for him because it was his dad's birthday, who's no longer living. But he waited until the cameras came around to tell you about his dad's birthday. Just as at the couples dinner, whenever he found the app on your phone, he didn't discuss it with you before the cameras came around. He waited till the cameras came around to embarrass you. So, Katina, I think one of the commonalities with all of this is the theatrics. And he's rewarding you like a dog in a bone for following him blindly. And quite frankly, I'm disgusted. But what I'm even more disgusted at is they showed a flashback of Katina and Olajuwon talking to Pastor Cal. And when they do, Olajuwon is giving some type of reference clues to their sex life during the show. Now, Olajuwon was the one who wanted everybody to know that he was withholding you from the D, even though he was giving LDE, okay? He wanted everybody to know that you were on a drought until he felt like you deserved his penis. So in this flashback with Pastor Cal, he is setting up a situation saying where he was hopping in the shower. Katina said, when you come out of the shower, I have something for you. And she says, you don't have to do anything. Just come lay down. I have something for you. Now, from my assumption of what they were talking about, it sounded like Katina said, get out the shower, come lay down. I'm going to give you some sloppy toppy. Okay. She was going to give some head, perform oral. And in my opinion, see, Prosner always, she says that they been had sex in her opinion. I don't think they did. I think what we're seeing here is what we saw with Ryan and Claire from New Orleans. I think that we see a woman who is so desperate to be with a man that she believes that she has to work harder than the average woman would. So even though he's withholding you from penetration, I do think her neck was sore. I do think her jaws was probably locked, in my opinion. Which to me makes the situation much, much, much worse. Okay. Carrie says, at first I was thinking he wanted nightly foot massages, but why wouldn't he just say that? So that made me think of head. That's cute. I can't believe you thought about nightly foot massages. The only reason why I didn't think it was a foot massage was because he didn't even want to say it in front of Pastor Cal. So I'm like, if it's nothing but some foot action, just say it. But you don't even want to say that. So I do think that Katina and her Bob was Bobbianiing, and her bang was, I think she was, because I think she is so insecure and she's been abused in so many relationships that she actually believes that she should work hard to be the person who he wants her to be. So tragic. Okay. Now when it comes to this app, he says that he wished that he had somebody to call him out. Whatever. You a grown ass man. Okay. If your wife crying wasn't enough, you're not gonna change, and you waited until you got in front of our play and in front of our faces to play like you really did change. So I feel no ways about Katina and Olajuwon. I'm just here to say, if you like it, I love it. I love it. So next, y'all, let's get into Alyssa and Chris. And I tried to upload a newer picture of Alyssa and Chris from the reunion, but I couldn't find it. So we just gonna work with this one from the wedding day. So, oh yeah. Let me read this comment. Dr. Pepper teaches at my college, and she low-key implied that Katina and Olajuwon are still together. Yeah, they're not breaking up. They're not going nowhere. They're not going anywhere. They're going to try to capitalize off of this. As me and the girls were talking about last night, Bondi mentioned they're probably going to try to make a YouTube channel. And I agree. But the thing is, I'm not subscribing. I'm not subscribing to your bullshit. I'm not. I refuse. You won't get a view off of me. Okay. So next, y'all, let's talk about Alyssa and Chris. This was such an easy scene to summarize, and I was here for all of it. Okay. So they go back, they show the flashbacks of Alyssa acting an ass because it's exactly what she was doing. And Alicia says, I just wish that I conducted myself differently because that's not who I really am, and that really doesn't show my character. I was under a lot of stress on the show, and I hate the experts because it really was their fault, and I just wasn't in my right frame of mind. Cool. Haven't we heard it all before? Okay, you're gonna act an ass, and then you're gonna say, "That's not who I really am. I'm so sorry." I rarely accept those type of apologies. Rarely, because people love to say that's not really who I am. But the fact of the matter is, that's exactly who you are. Just in those rare instances that you're not usually put into, in those rare emotional instances, that's exactly who you are. That's just not who you are on the day to day because you're not put in those situations. So whenever somebody shows you who they are, absolutely believe them. And I love that Chris kept that same energy. Chris has to be my favorite person in this entire franchise. Okay. He set a record for leaving his relationship the fastest. He said if he knew what she was saying when she was saying it, they would have set an even faster record. And in so many ways, every time Kevin asked Chris a question, his response was basically, I don't fuck with her, period. Every single response. He says, I would have done it sooner if I knew what she was saying. And of course, she was claiming the insanity. And she was crying whenever Chris finally broke off the marriage. And they were asking her, what are you crying for? And she says, overall, it was just tears of sadness. So yeah, shout out to Chris. I think he respectfully lit her ass up on the stage like he did the entire season. It just absolutely would have hurt my heart to see all of these couples an entire season. And I wanted to talk to y'all about the rumors that I've been hearing. the streets are saying, the people are saying that all of the couples allegedly were given a $25,000 incentive if they all said yes on decision day. And at first, I never really believed these types of things, but all signs pointed to none of these couples had no business speaking to each other in a damn grocery store. Okay. So the fact that y'all all sat there and said yes on decision day, something is telling me that money was the motivator, but that's just my thoughts. Okay. Y'all let me know in the comments if y'all actually think that these people were incentivized for staying together, because I think they knew that we were damn near tired of the last two seasons. So for this one, they wanted to romanticize it. And that's why I'm absolutely not obsessed, upset with the experts. They absolutely were cheering on couples that should not have been together. Lindsey and Mark, abusive. Katina and Olajuwon, abusive. And I know people don't want to say it, but Jasmina, abusive. Okay. And that's why I had to tap out of the season. I couldn't watch every single episode for 2 hours at a time. I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Alyssa, abusive in a victim manner. All of these couples, none of these people had no business being together. So, what I think they need to do is reevaluate who they have as experts low key. I think at some point in time, you got to hang it up. You got to hang it up. I think some of their ideologies are outdated. I think the only one that they honestly should keep on the show is Dr. Viviana. Dr. Pepper, she cool, but Pastor Cal, as much as I love seeing Pastor Cal on the show, I can't. I can't. I can't. Why can we not find any quality Black couples? And I'm at the same point to where I was last season. If you can't find no quality Black couples, start pairing. I don't give a fuck. Start doing interracial couples. I don't care. I don't care. Start mixing different cultures or similar cultures together. You have Vincent and Brianna. That was cute. I enjoyed it. Do something better, okay? If it was not for Woody and Amani, Miles and Karen Burley, I don't know. I just think we need to go back to the drawing board. This entire season felt exhausting, felt like we were watching abuse from all different angles. And for the experts to really sit there on decision day and congratulate these couples for persevering was just beyond me. Well, y'all know damn well these people should have been in some type of individual therapy. I say that every single season. At the end of every single season, the number one factor is that these people need therapy. Okay. Speaking of the people who need therapy, I think the person who needs therapy the absolute most on this show is Jasmina. And some of y'all are going to be like, what? Not Olajuwon? What? Not Lindsey? The number one person who needs therapy on this show is Jasmina. I had so much frustration with this girl throughout the entire season. We find out that they are no longer together, and that's on Michael's accord. Are we surprised? I knew it was not going to work, y'all, whenever they decided to stay together. And as soon as decision day ended, they said, we're going to stay together, but we're going to live separately so we can get to know each other. Michael, in what world, in what dimension, space has Jasmina even given you opportunity to get to know her? So by y'all living in different places, I don't know how you thought that would be the solution. It was not going to be the solution. So I knew that wasn't going to work. What we also know about Jasmina was that all of Jasmina's relationships have always been long distance. And none of them ever worked. But let's talk about I think it was 2 red flags that popped up with Jasmina to me this entire time. So they talk about the wedding day. They say the wedding day was a really good day. They both seem really happy. She's sitting so close to him. And this is the first time that I'm actually seeing that they may have some physical chemistry because she's so close to this man. I hadn't seen her like that the entire show. So they talk about their communication barriers, and then they both talk about whether or not Michael was actually yelling, was he being condescending, or was he being aggressive? Michael says, you could say I was yelling, but you cannot say I was being aggressive. Jasmina still stands by the word aggressive because she says, you can be aggressive in a way that's not physical. As a Black woman, she feels like she could use that word. If she's a Black woman, she feels like she can define what aggressive means. And I don't think that's fair, Jasmina. I think Jasmina always, you know, from day one at the honeymoon, I told y'all that I was not 100% sure if Michael actually yelled at her. I was always convinced that Michael agreed with what Jasmina was saying because he no longer wanted to fight. He thought that if he just rolled over and played dead, that everything would be all good once she got over it. But it wasn't, because Jasmina continued to villainize Michael for just expressing himself. She wanted communication, but every time he did, it was an issue with the way he spoke. And this is why I say Jasmina needs therapy. Jasmina does not realize that she has disassociated herself from the real shit that happened in her life, which is why it's difficult to even have a conversation with Jasmina because she has barriers all around her. Michael, talk to me, but not like that. Michael, show that you're attracted to me, but I'm not like that. Michael, let's communicate through our issues. Oh, but you're being aggressive. Jasmina does not realize that it's something wrong. So let's start red flag number one. When Jasmina came on the show, her and her stepmom, or I think it was her stepmom, who explained how she was essentially abandoned by both of her parents. Her mom left when she was really young. The stepmom stepped up and was with their dad. Eventually, the dad left, and you were abandoned as a teenager and were then taken in by your stepmom and her new husband. Okay? So we're not going to talk about how that's traumatic. Okay, bad. But the second red flag for me was they had that exercise and they wanted both of them to open up to each other. However, Jasmina ended up turning it into an exercise for Michael. Jasmina turned it into a therapy session for Michael to recount seeing his dead brother on the sidewalk after being shot. So you let that man sit there and cry to you, but whenever you had the opportunity to be real about some real shit that happened in your life, you didn't do it. And then one of the things she said that really just had me go, oh, this girl really disassociated. She said, whenever Michael explained all the deaths that he had in his family and all these people he lost, Jasmina said, I couldn't imagine losing someone really close to me like that. This is coming from the girl who was essentially abandoned by both her mother and her father biologically. Y'all, I think there's something wrong with Jasmina. Jasmina has a barrier and a big roadblock to her heart. She don't want to let people in. That's why all her relationships have been long distance. But there's some detachment going on. And I think that needs to be checked out because she absolutely does have a Karen-esque way about her for her to be a Black woman. And I think it's all a method to try to protect herself. N Major says Jasmina never knew her mother. I remember them saying that her mom left her when she was really little. So either she didn't know her or her mom left her or both. And then her dad left her too. So I'm sure that there's some trauma right there. Now, the other thing they talked about is how Michael ended the relationship. Let me let y'all know how she ended it, right? Or he ended it. 2 days after the decision day, or 12 days, I'm sorry. They got into an argument. It seemed like no effort was being made on either one of their parts based on what the other one says. And Michael says, if he takes away the fact that he made vows, if he takes away the fact that he wanted a family, that he really wanted to be married, and he just focuses on he and Jasmina both as individuals. There's no reason for them to be married. So he told her he wanted to end the relationship. And she said, okay. She said it was a mutual agreement, but Michael was the one to initiate it. Good for you, Michael. You should have said no on decision day. There was no reason for him to say yes, but I guess he wanted to honor his commitment, or he wanted that $25,000. Right? I agree 100%. As soon as they said that they weren't living together, yep, it was just waiting for the breakup, which to me felt like maybe they did get the $25,000. Maybe there was an incentive for them staying together, because I feel like this entire time, both Jasmina and Michael were on the same page of we're just friends. They communicated it in a way to where I felt like both of them were just waiting for the 8 weeks to be over. But somebody must have, put something in front of their face that was green. And I'm not talking about these nails, I'm talking about some coin. And they decided to actually stay together. So Jasmina says that she's not dating. She says she's not looking and she's not worried about that. Michael says he's not really dating, but he's hesitant to really ask if he's really out there, if there's anyone to pique his interest. So that's all for Jasmina and Michael. Next, y'all, let's talk about Noi and Steve, which I don't have a picture of Noi and Steve from the reunion, but that's okay. So with Noi and Steve, y'all, they're still married. They still live together, but Noi keeps her apartment. Now, one of the biggest things that I know y'all are going to want to talk about is Steve's money. How do you make the money? What's your situation? But I want to preface this part of the conversation with where I stood during the entire show. Yes, I called this man unemployed. I called this man lazy. And then eventually, my issue wasn't the fact that he didn't work 9 to 5. My issue was the simple fact that he never created a plan. He never gave Noi any insight on what his financials look like, what his income looked like, and what his savings look like. I was like, why? Why is he not telling her anything? And yes, Monique, Moneybag Steve, okay? So come to find out, Steve had actually invested in crypto very, very early on. So he's good. He's relaxed. That's why he's so cool, calm, and collected, okay? Because he's collecting those coins. He's making money. But I still want to know, why didn't he tell her? Why didn't he tell her on the show? Now, my other thing that I noticed was, even though they seem to be together and they have a plan, Noi just did not seem happy, in my opinion. Noi said that she was comfortable with the amount of money that he had because now she has visibility to his investments. But the reason, and Janice, you're right. Even when Kevin asked him directly about the money, he didn't ask the question completely, but I think he does have money. Tom said Steve did say he tried to have the conversation with Noi, but she didn't want to talk about it. I didn't know that. That's wild to me. I would want to have all kind of insights. So I think two things can be true. I think Noi likes to complain, and I think that Steve absolutely should have gave her more insight as far as what he had going earlier on. But one of the things I wanted to call out is, even though Noi is more comfortable with his financial situation, she still didn't seem happy on stage. But then in the same breath, in her feeling or the way she looked unhappy, she said that they were going to have a baby within the next year, right? And to me, I feel like there's probably two reasons why she's unhappy. Steve seems like the type of guy who has a lot of money, but is financially tight. So I'm wondering if Noi is even benefiting from the amount of money that he has. I'm wondering if Noi's financial situation is still the same. I'm wondering if Steve is actually adding any added value to her life financially. And I'm wondering if that's why she's like that. I wouldn't be surprised, because for y'all to have two apartments, you stay with Steve majority of the time and you have your own apartment. Steve is probably paying all the bills in his apartment, but is he also paying for your apartment or what? I don't know, y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all think about Noi and Steve. It was difficult to really decipher what was going on. So as far as the working situation, him and Noi have come to an agreement that once they reach a certain timeline, he'll start applying for jobs. He said start applying, y'all. So I'm kind of just like, if that works for y'all, then fine, right? So now we see Noi's sister Sriracha come out and she gives her opinion on their relationship. Two pieces of advice that she gave the couple. She says, say what you feel and don't be condescending. So the say what you feel is for Noi, because y'all know Noi likes to run over to Instagram with subliminals instead of saying what she really feels. And then for Steve, the don't be condescending. Y'all, this is my opinion. I don't really think that Steve is condescending. I just think that Noi is childish as hell. And whenever Noi is doing all that rah, 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 Steve talking to her like this: be a big girl, put your big girl panties on. This is what we're not going to do. I think to her that feels condescending because nobody's matching her chaos. And I could absolutely see that in Noi. But ultimately, I think that they're going to stay together. I don't think Steve is going anywhere. Steve seems to be a nice guy outside of the fact that we didn't know how he made his money for a long time. He doesn't seem to be ruffled easily, which is a really good thing, especially whenever you're dealing with somebody like Noi who likes to complain. I think they're going to stay together. I think Noi is going to continue to complain, and that's just that. So finally, y'all, let's talk about Mark and Lindsey. This couple right here. This couple right here compliments each other in the worst way. And that's what I find with a lot of these couples on the show. And I do have to agree with y'all when it comes to Sriracha. Sriracha did not add anything to the conversation at all. And I don't know what fan base they were talking about, but it's fine. I think they would have been better off bringing out Michael's sister. Honestly, I think Michael's sister would have been a better guest to bring out because she actually gave him good advice. But the season before that, I think they brought out Michaela's sister. They did. But okay, cool. So now, y'all, let's talk about Mark and Lindsey. They're not together. And Lindsey, in some way, wanted to put the blame on Mark to explain why they weren't together because Lindsey wants to be a victim. I told y'all that this woman was a brat child that ended up turning into a brat adult woman. Now, next, y'all. We find out that after decision day, or right before decision day, Mark told Lindsey, we're not going to break the family up. We're not going to break our cats up. We're going to move into my grandma's 3-bedroom house and we're going to fix it up. So Lindsey sold a bunch of her stuff, moved out of her rented apartment, and moved into Mark's family home and helped him renovate it and fix it up. So in the midst of doing all that, they got into the typical arguments that they like to argue about, which is nothing, which is dumb shit because they're not supposed to be together. They start arguing, and both of them claim that crazy threats were made. And I did notice a couple of y'all saying that Lindsey looked different. Lindsey looked very different. Her face seemed to be a little bit tighter. Her face seemed to be a little bit slimmer. She looked good. So anyway, Mark moves Lindsey into his house. They fix it up. They get into arguments. Lindsey claims that he had threats of kicking her out, getting the locks changed, all this other stuff. Mark keeps claiming that there was insane threats made, but neither one of them wanted to recount exactly what was said. Now, if I had to make my guess, something about Lindsey just feels real chaotic. I don't want to say the word crazy, but something about Lindsey is giving crazy. Something is giving me not these two. Lindsey was threatening somebody's well-being. And that's just my opinion based on her energy. I could definitely see her getting upset. I can see arguments being volatile. I can see her wanting to make arguments physical. So both of these two get on my nerves. Number one, because Lindsey is a mess and she doesn't have any source of accountability for herself. Number two, Mark likes to be a victim. Mark said that out of all of the bullies that he's ever had in his life, Lindsey has been number one. Mark, what I have to ask you now is at the age of 40, 40 mature years, why is it that you find yourself in situations to where you're often bullied by women? When we met you on the show, your mama was talking to you like you was crazy. Lindsey was talking to you like she was crazy. Your landlord, who you claimed you wasn't smashing, was talking to you like you was crazy too and kicked you out the house because you brought bed bugs. Why is that? And that's what I mean by these two are complementary in the most toxic of ways to one another. But what was funny as hell to me was that once she moved all her stuff into his house and got rid of her apartment, she had to move. And guess what? She had nowhere to go. And guess what? Mark had the roof over her head. Now, this entire season, y'all, all Lindsey has been talking about is how she saved this man and that he ain't had nowhere to stay if it wasn't for her. And she basically, birthed and fed this man. So for her to get rid of everything and help him fix up his apartment, do I think that Mark intentionally did that? Absolutely. Absolutely. Mark knew good and damn well that before decision day, he knew that regardless of if he said yes on that day, that didn't mean that they were actually going to stay together. I think he was just saying that he wanted to be together for a little bit longer until we renovate my space. And then you can leave after that. So I think that that's what he did. He moved her into the house, the 3-bedroom house. He fixed it up on her coin because one of the things y'all know about Lindsey is Lindsey likes to be a ride or die, and then she likes to throw it in your face later. Lindsey likes to love bomb, similar to the way that Olajuwon likes to love bomb and hold it over your head. So I definitely think he wanted assistance fixing up his grandma's house just so, they could break up after that. And Jay, I agree. She says once the bonus checks cleared, Lindsey had to go. So, y'all, I'm actually curious to know what's going to happen in part 2. This was part 1 of the reunion, y'all. I don't see any new information coming out for part 2, but I guess, okay, they already revealed the couples for Married at First Sight San Diego. And I wish let me try to find it, y'all, because I do want to talk to y'all about that. We can go one by one. Shout out to Married at First Sight fan on Instagram. But since I brought it up, I really do want y'all to see the new couples because I think Married at First Sight is premiering in July. I think it's premiering in July. Give me a hot second, okay? All right. So let's go by one, and I want to introduce y'all to the couples. And y'all let me know in the chat if y'all can actually see y'all let me know in the chat if y'all can see the tab once I pull it up. So I'm gonna be waiting on y'all's response. Y'all can see it. Y'all can see it. Oh, let me pull my picture down. Okay. So I think y'all are good. Y'all see it. Cool. This is one of the first couples from this new season. And y'all, this girl reminds me so much of Mirla. Am I tripping? This girl looks just like Mirla to me. Does she not look like Mirla to y'all? There's really nothing for me to say about this couple right here, but I do think that this man is a handsome man. She seems like a nice lady, but I probably couldn't guess who is going to be the toxic one because at this point we know that there's going to be somebody toxic. But at this point, I really can't tell y'all who I think the toxic person is going to be. So yeah, that's that right there. So now let's move on to the next couple. The next couple we see is Kristen and Mitchell. Kristen reminds me, I can't remember the lady's name. And I know somebody in the chat is going to remember her name. It was a couple. They were like an older couple. And the lady had like kind of reddish hair. She liked to work out. She was with a guy who kind of had like a dad bod. This was like, damn. I think they're still together to this day. This was probably like 4 seasons ago. Somebody let me know in the chat, but whatever. This couple right here, in my opinion, I don't think they're going to work out. I don't know anything about these people at all, but something is just telling me by the looks of this picture, I don't think they're going to work out. This guy right here, Kristen and Mitchell. Mitchell, is it Mitchell or Michael? Where is that? What's his name? Mitchell. Mitchell looks cool, you know? AJ and Stephanie. Shout out to y'all. Yes, y'all said Stephanie. She looks like Stephanie to me. She looks just like Stephanie. But anyway, something about Mitchell just looks real cool. He looks like a nice guy. And Kristen, I don't know. She looks nice too, but it's something about the pose that just feels kind of stiff. Like she might not be as open to love. But y'all tell me, I don't know. Okay. So let's get on to the next couple. This is the couple that everybody has been talking about. This is the couple that everybody has been talking about. Shout out to Married at First Sight fan. Y'all follow them on Instagram. Alexis and Justin. And y'all see that second comment that's pinned up there. It says, comments about the contestant's sexuality will be deleted. So whenever this picture came up, y'all, everybody was literally under the assumption that this was Married at First Sight, first LGBTQIA non-binary couple. People really thought that. People thought that Justin was Justine. But after further research, Justin seems to be a male at birth. So I think that Twitter is going to be ruthless this summer when the new season premieres. Y'all tell me what y'all think. Okay. I want to know how Alexis is going to handle this. I think that Justin is a basketball player based on his Instagram. He's super duper tall. Yes, super duper tall. Monique says his Instagram says he's 6'8". He's super duper tall. But he does have a baby face. So I don't think this is gonna work well. Y'all tell me. I don't think that this is gonna work well. And this is the main couple that everybody has been talking about. Alexis and Justin, y'all. So let me go to the next couple. The next couple we see is Stacia, and Nate. Nate looks to be black or mixed. Stacia, I can't tell what the lady is. She looked like she might be black. I don't know. Who knows? But I guess this counts as their second couple, because the second black couple, because y'all know they always cast 2 black couples on the show. So yeah, this is a couple right there. I have no opinion on them right now. I don't. That's Stacia and Nate. I don't know what their Instagrams are, but I'm pretty sure they're private at this point. Y'all let me know well in advance if y'all think they're going to work out, but I can't put my finger on who is going to be the bad guy of the season. Stacia. Maybe Stacia. That's probably white. I said that's probably white because I was reading ancient comments. She said she looked fully white to me. I don't know. She looks like she might be mixed with something. Maybe not black, but she looked like she might be mixed with something. I really don't know. So maybe this is our 1.5 black couples this season, or 1.25. Maybe they're gonna do how not New Orleans. That was Atlanta. That was Ryan and Claire. Maybe they're gonna do it like that. Who knows? Okay. But if they were ever gonna do interracial couples, I think that this was gonna be a really good place to start. I mean, it is 2020 damn two. But as far as Lifetime, y'all know we don't see a bunch of interracial relationships on this show, but San Diego seems to be a good place to start. Now, the final couple, y'all, they look to be interracial, is Morgan and Ben. I think Morgan's gonna be a mess. That's just my guess. If I had to guess, I would have to say I think that Morgan is going to be a mess. Now, let me go past all the couples one last time so y'all can see. I need y'all to cast y'all vote on who is going to be our hot mess couple. I think Morgan's going to be a mess, but I don't think that Morgan and Ben will be our hot mess. You see, Ben has his suit on in his picture, so something tells me that he's very like career driven or something like that. So who knows? And then we have Stacia and Nate. Stacia to me seems like she may be difficult to deal with just based on the eyebrows in the picture, but there's really no telling. Nate also seems to think that he's the main character based on this picture. So they may complement each other, but maybe in a bad way because they both seem to be like attractive looking people. Who knows? Okay. And yeah, this is the first couple I'm talking about. Why such serious? Look at the comment. Why such serious pictures, modeling shots, perhaps? Are any of these couples honestly looking for marriage? Oh my gosh. Okay, and then this couple right here, y'all, I actually have no idea. I could absolutely see this girl being upset with people thinking that her husband's I have no clue. I don't even know the right way to say that. So let me read this comment from Danielle. Danielle says she is not going to like Justin. I can tell. I can tell as well. Okay. This couple right here, I don't think will be as much of a mess, but somebody in the comments already said these two are not going to work. He's looking like he could be her father. I don't think he looks that much older than her, but I just don't think that they're going to work. And then the last couple right here, this couple does look good together. Something about Miguel just looks like a nice man. He looks like a nice man. Like he's going to get along with everybody and he's going to be like the person to bring all the couples together. And a lot of the people in the comments seem to agree. So those are the new couples for this next season coming in July. This next season coming in July, y'all. So that's pretty much all I have for y'all. I really had no intentions of even speaking on the San Diego couples because we still have one more part left to the reunion. So we're going to see y'all. I really hope y'all enjoyed this review. Please be sure to share this. Be sure to share this video with other people who like Married at First Sight. I'll see y'all on Monday to talk about Love and Marriage Huntsville, Real Housewives of Atlanta, and whatever else come on TV, okay? Y'all be sure to tweet me, follow me on Instagram, all that good stuff, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.